が君だよ。
Alright, chat. We are going to do the watch party.
That game, they're doing a pretty good job themselves.
Absolutely. The biggest kind of factor takeaway from that game is just knowing when to play your cards and what options they have available. Aegis Kanata won by 4 points. If they would have tied, Ikon and Dukes would have been ranked 1 for this game. They chose not to give up their bodies as eliminations. They denied 4 points. Take one in Duke's monster, and it's a 4-point difference for them being in the lead.
Yeah, that does make a difference. But what I'm noticing from game 1 and game 2 is that the gap
first and second seemingly breaking away in both the games so far. I'm curious to see if that becomes a trend where like the teams that just go off, right? And they start to cap the competition because so far that has at least been the trend to some degree. We start to jump into our 0-point earners that last game. A couple of notable ones might be up there. You know, these kind of things are going to happen. Blake and Bizzle were contested again off the drop.
Wow.
You see that they didn't really get to turn much, although they did survive the drop this time around. So we'll see if these teams can go on and bounce back in.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how Aegis and Kanata did because they were in 6th place after game number 1. So with that first place spot right there, of course they are going to be at the lead of our total leaderboard right now. But it is only a 1-point difference that separates them from Acorn and Dukes.
Yeah, Ali's not going to be free for NA today. You
I don't
have
know
to pay
any
your
of
rent
these
every
people.
single game, and that's hard work.
I know Kanata.
1-point difference, and then a 4-point
No
difference
Acorn.
with a tie.
I know
It's gonna be
Edgy.
nuts, Monster.
Yeah, those
I know
top 4
Scented.
teams really not only having a good bulk of eliminations, but the
Booga.
placement points to back them up as well. As you can start seeing the distance really takes place. Although Ignala and Pika got 12 elims, they are nowhere near the likes of the other teams that have just an elim above them, 13. The 30 points of difference in just
Let me
placement
mute,
points. That's what we talked about. This
Fortnite for a
entire
second.
meta so far is almost built around this idea of everyone will be able to rotate relatively easily. But that does not mean you are guaranteed end games by any means. So it's going to be the smartest.
Okay.
I think we'll
Look at
start
the
to
next
prevail
side.
here and be
I
able
know
to separate
Paper.
themselves, right? Gap
Dang it.
themselves from the rest
No
of their
Nate
opponents.
Hill.
Ooh, it looks like it's not just these teams that we're going to be looking at the success, but the success from you guys at home. Were you able to type in JBL Quantum like I asked you to? Well, here's some people that did just that. LKL,
No,
Matt Styles, Sugar
I wanted a
Bear, we got
pair.
Supreme Tony, Shatter Dream, Lucifer, and then of course,
Dang it.
Mustache Cassius? Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
said that right. Congratulations on your wins right here. You can see the respective items that you have earned on the right-hand
sad.
side of that. I mean, Shio, this is some pretty sweet loot.
And yeah, it's not only the sweetest loot, it's the
went
sweetest
to the
hearing type
headphones.
loot. I feel comfortable. Water tastes better with this headset on. I don't know what it is. It's just amazing.
No way
And
I
these guys
actually
can
won.
Also, you know, experience
Where?
the
He's
awesomeness
not
of
here.
JBL. Very happy
Last
about that.
guy.
Yeah, definitely. These are some very comfortable headsets that we have on right now. The JBL Quantum 1s are up there for grabs too. These have some pretty solid mics as well.
I
so
love these.
Congratulations. Don't forget, respond to these messages because if you
And
don't,
these.
they will be
Yeah.
re-rolled, right? Someone else will snatch them up. So if you see your name on here, make sure you check possibly your Twitter DMs or however you're getting, or not Twitter, sorry, Twitch private messages there, the whispers, so you can go ahead and get connected because you don't want to lose out on these.
You know what? Check up Twitter DMs as well, because who
Might as
knows,
well.
maybe someone's trying to contact you there and you just aren't aware of it. But that is the winners for the first set of giveaways that we're going to be doing. We got 2 more to go, everyone.
Two
so I'll
more,
let you
yes,
know
let's
when
go.
to type the code into chat. I know you're going to be spamming it throughout the games anyway, so keep doing that because, again, chat engagement is great. But for the rest of you guys that like to follow the rules, it's gonna be 2 more for the later today. But everyone, we got 1 more game happening right now. That's game number 3. Let's get into it.
Game number 3 for NA. At halfway point already, Monster. We're seeing patterns, but this is happening fast. I'm not used to game 3s rolling up this quick, at least in build mode.
I mean, listen, that shockwave hammer is taking that timer and breaking it up as we know it. All of a sudden now, we are finding ourselves in the late stretch. We got a pretty much a 4-way train ride so far. Everyone's front seat, captain's tickets, looking pretty good. But for the rest, can they find the placement points that they need? Match 3 of the JBL Quantum Cup. We'll get to see it kicked off. Will the struggle ensue for some teams finally start to break away and find success?
Yeah, usually there's one team by this point that has a little bit of a pseudo lead, 10, 20 points that another team just comes back from in a random game. That has not been the case so far in NA. Everyone just evenly spread across the
theater
field. We
mode
saw
for
a
you
lot of action
guys.
towards the south side of the map. Haven't really tuned into much snowy types of fights. Macwood landing over towards that north side. A bunch of teams actually rotating late from that side too. No snow zones either. So far in NA, everything's been autumn, kind of leafy, and very comfortable for a bunch of these teams.
Yeah, man. EU gave you a lot of snow, but we might just be due a little bit of snow ourselves here on the North America space. I don't know about you, but it's getting really warm out here in Texas for that Canada weather. It's getting deep into the freeze zone for all I know, so you might be sick of it.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, it actually hasn't even started snow falling yet, believe it or not.
Ooh, okay,
It's
okay.
straight up just dry or rainy. Global warming and all that. For these guys, the only thing that's being warmed up is the aim. I've
Watch
only seen
Kanata,
more
watch
and more shots
Kanata.
connecting for every single player.
Okay.
As
Avery
they're
dropped
popping off.
alone.
But Aegis
What?
that hot seat all the way down below. Inside the lead, they want to keep it as this game keeps moving forward.
Kanata and Agers are in first place right now just by a singular point. Edgy and Miro contested on top of Jelty. Jelty's actually there at the bottom. Oh, I'm
Edgy's
gonna
gonna
pull up
kill
the
him.
drop map here and actually just double check. I want to do a sanity check here. Was Jelty's team there already? Are they deciding to go ahead and look to target them? No, I actually didn't even see them.
They took the
Neither
other
team
side of
on the
Slappy.
radar there, so someone is throwing a wrench in the strategy here to get involved. Krizik's already knocked too, so pretty tough
Nita's over
day.
here in the snow.
The Hispanic boys down low.
Look at all the people here.
Yeah, they're just kind of signaling them off completely.
Brutal is packed.
And they're really good so far at having
Lonely is uncontested. That's
really
good.
good isolated fights. No chance for one player to get all the way back up. That was Edgy, but Miro finds
Oh, Edgy.
final finish. Onto Krizik's on the left side. Yeah, this is an absolute tough fight for both Jelty and Krizik's. Edgy Miro, especially when they're online, I think the hardest opponents to face.
Yeah, and they claim the drop, by the way, on the drop map as Meji. Just
Oh no,
it's
Jelty.
not gonna stand a chance. Miro.
Why was he
slides on in.
solo?
Edgy backs him up. They finish this up pretty quickly. They will be able to live off of course, the siphon generator.
was he
for 2
solo?
Material counts. That's a 300 metal. Probably the most important thing you could pick up as far as that engagement goes. Little first look at Avery and Commandment's early drop. Somewhat of a split drop dead center. For Booga and Peterbot, we know they've been contested. We've seen them not only wipe this duo up, but push down to Nate Hill and crew. Clicks and Bucky. Struggle has been the name of the game for them, but hey, this time around they do have their drop pretty much cleared.
My food is here. I'll be right back.
See them capture one of those capture points as well, at least on screen. Have a lot of loot to be able to work with, and yeah, it's tough to kind of contest that Citadel, but you're right, Monster. They are trying to get their game rolling. It's pretty much just a guaranteed capture point of the Citadel, and you mentioned not that many chests, so maybe it's a drop spot change for the next tournament for this duo, because they have the power, they have the prowess. It just doesn't look like they have the best spot overall on the map right now.
Yeah, and last game, I mean, the zone landed directly west, right? More or less, they had the first stabs there at the Citadel, so they get a second chance here in game 2. I'm trying to scavenge my way through the standings here to see where exactly Clicks and Bucky position themselves. They were in 22nd place, so under themselves just a single elim so far in the tournament. Pretty tough spot to be in. The post-match results of game 2.
Let's jump on from Jack, Keys, and Dino. Unfortunately, not going to find a chance to play another game. Slap Juice will get polarized all the way back up as well. Dragon Elise getting all their loot around them taken away for rotation, but they've got the majority of Breakwater Beta to be able to play with.
And I was just gonna say, you saw there the Slap Juice, like he was willing to drink all 3 of them to get his shield back up and just, yeah, just pick up whatever's left over and just keep it moving. Some teams will just utilize it in that way. They won't actually carry them into the end game. The likelihood of you needing the max stamina in that fashion is just, you know, not very much there. You're gonna find yourself building, moving almost from point A to point B, like, you know, baby steps, not really taking long strides like that. So in end game, Slap Juice is great, don't get me wrong, but yeah, you much rather have a shockwave in the hand there, the hammer shockwave.
I don't see too many in many hands right now. Elise has one. Booga Peterbot just farming up. This is where games got slightly more aggressive for a bunch of these teams. Brutal Bashing gonna be really buffed up here. You can see that it's kind of slowed down for both Blake Bizzle, Smoochie, and Amber. Lots of loot to be able to get, so they want to make sure that this time, not just mindlessly all inning, they have a strategy approaching some of these fights. Blake will go for a little bit of a distraction. Bizzle will go on that right building, try to find a better angle, push them and force them into a box fight. Threats is looming in the shadows way across those, so there's a timer on this fight for both Blake and Bizzle.
You know what I'm really thinking about, just to kind of backtrack onto like Booga and Peterbot, Notice every single chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4 now, Bugha has landed at arguably the most, like one of the best draw spots on the chapter. That I'm just noticing now, the Shores has full metal resource cap there, which is almost unheard of on most of these other drops. Last season was Chonker Speedway. The one before that, one of the most contested Stark drops that I think we've ever witnessed. But the point being, he goes for the best, and he's willing to fight for the best spots.
Yep, aggressive game plan. You kind of need the clout with it too. You know that you have to be a force that's willing to reckon with anything, and should not be reckoned with. And I think both Bugha, especially Peterbot, has that reputation. Very good fighter in his own rights. And yeah, now when it comes to Slappy Shores, still have all that metal. They can still just follow the same game plan. The Shonkers kind of gave that in the last season. It's a really good observation.
And let's not forget the season Peterbot 1 was fully contested there with Vila center map, playing off of the there were some adjustments made to I think the season midway, put the air tunnel right there, but they won that season and became the FNCS champions of their season. So just very, very interesting. Peterbot, I think, is going to be a great option as far as a duo pickup goes if they do continue to play with one another. Now let's watch this play out. So either how far ahead are they?
About really good at tracking his individual player. That's the biggest thing that you can see from this duo. They'll kind of just man up like they're playing basketball and choose one person, focus on them most of the time until they finally break down on one and go for a split.
Oh my gosh.
Unfortunate for Zox. Big shot over. And now it's just tracks left. Bugha and Peterbot making them look like it's their first game of Fortnite today.
Bugha's going to double back here, making sure he gathers all of those extra heals just in case here as Peterbot goes in. Wants to hand this one on his own, but he doesn't see track. Psych! I lied. Peterbot with the quick fake out there and then the finish.
Love to see it from him. You can never expect what's going to come out from both these players when they're on the field. But it's nice to see fast action. Not too many fights that go the distance in NA Monster. It looks like it's always just complete all-ins.
That was pretty slick by Peterbot as well. It looked like he was going to pass, but he used that swinging back momentum to slide his way all the way across, probably faster than his opponent can react to. Into the zone, Ignali and Pgod, who had, again, a lot of eliminations, but some of the worst placement points we've seen so far. The team's up top. And this is why we're winning most of these engagements. But the struggles that ensue afterwards are pretty tough. Sully and Marine are looking solid here as they find themselves two. He got out.
Oh, Pgod.
Oh no.
This stuff here about beamed. Gonna be down for now.
Here?
5 splashes. I mean, there's a chance for both him and Bugha to stay alive during this one. Running out of time, close to zone, but there's 2 different teams looking at him. Dukes switches his target over to the team right towards the north. That's 6 splashes total and that hammer to use, so should still be possible. Praise might be pushing them in a second, but I don't think he has the HP to do so either. Okay, business as usual, everything fine. Ignore anything that happened.
Yeah, they're just gonna go ahead and use the shockwave hammers here to rotate all the way on out, try to get back to the loot piles from before. They're desperate now for this extra material here. This is some of the benefits of contesting a team early and eliminating them before they really get to use their loot. There's Dignitas and Acorn. Brush off the knocks. Now pushing a whole new team. It's Blaking through, but Blake puts up a good fight there. Bizzle is the player down.
Sparrow Vo's all the way up top. Red Eyes in tow, a very dangerous place for them to be. Jay and his teammate rocking in. It's Taikzu.